It's Nolan. Now, before we get started, make sure y'all hitting that like button. Make sure y'all sharing it on your respective platforms. Let somebody know what we're doing today. Now, let's get into the show.
My friends call on my phone, I never pick up. Y'all niggas leave me alone, I never pick up. Leave a message at the tone, I never pick up. Had to get it on my own, I never pick up. All my friends call on my phone, I never pick up. Y'all niggas leave me alone, I never pick up. Leave a message at the tone, I never pick up. Had to get it on my own, I never pick up.
Horse smells on my voicemail like a butler hanging on my coattail. Got these chickens clucking like it's H-Mart. Writing poetry, got it for wholesale. Ringing doorbells with these CDs on me going hand in hand. Got a bag, then I fumbled it. Fourth quarter board was looking like Shanahan. Now I'm stacking up them dividends. G's on me like I'm Dabba Dan. Pockets bulging like them hammer pants. Legendary like I'm Bag of Vance. Turning down these labels, bad advance. Ooh, I'm feeling like a prize. You can see it in my eyes. Ooh, text on my number, won't get no reply. I shake them like grease on the fries. Ooh, chain swinging like a clock tower. Yeah, I'm suited up, Mr. Hightower. Feeling groovy, boy, monster powers. All this gold shining like a brighter shower. New kicks, I am not a punter, but the numbers running like I'm Jackie Joyner. Turn my words into fine art. I just drew a reference back to Magna Carta. Warming up like a leather bomber. Now they blowing up my phone. I just went to a safari, now they keeping tabs on me, Google Chrome. Down payment on a home. Got the paper making songs. See these suckers about to come in now. Cleo leave a message at the tone.
Shut up. The fuck your fucking kid and play high top looking at.
What's going on, beautiful people? It's the kid J Nolan here. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Industry, your number one source for music, entertainment, commentary, and breakdowns. Hope everybody is doing well out there on this Monday afternoon. Y'all already know what we're here for. Y'all see the title. Y'all see the thumbnail. Let's get right into it, man. We definitely now know Kendrick Lamar is confirmed to be on the new Clipse album, Let God Sort 'Em Out. All right? This has been long in speculation. People have been wondering for about a year now whether or not we were going to get this feature. Pusha T has been out here saying in different interviews, we're just waiting on one specific feature. Once again, in my last video where I covered Ace Trumpets, I talked about, people, whether they believed it was Jay-Z, if it was Kendrick. I still would not be surprised if we get both. But the one that was the loudest with expectation was Kendrick. Right? There's a song called Whips and Chains that kind of got, I wouldn't say leaked because they actually allowed it to be heard at, the Louis Vuitton fashion show. And they played it for the first time. It has Pusha and Malice on it. This is also the song where Pusha took direct shots aiming in Jim Jones' direction throughout pretty much the whole verse. And I've seen some people that were wondering if Pusha was still taking shots at Jim Jones on the Ace Trumpets record. I felt like a lot of those shots were aimed in Kanye's direction. Based on this new interview that just came out with the Clipse and GQ, it seems like my estimation might have been right because he definitely had some choice words for Kanye in this interview as well. Even going as far as saying in his eyes, Kanye is not a man. So if you'll take it that far to publicly say that this man is not a man, yeah, I'm going to think you probably taking some shots in your bars. All right. In this interview, they also address the Kendrick Lamar situation. They go into how UMG Def Jam / UMG were happy with the album from the Clipse. They were ready to do their thing, but they were not trying to allow them to have this Kendrick Lamar verse on the project. All right. They were salty. Of course, the album was done last year. So they wanted to put this out in the midst of all of the drama right after, the great battle that took place before all the lawsuits and all that stuff. Of course, we know Drake behind the scenes was already badgering UMG about Not Like Us and basically trying to get the song taken down or force them to censor the record or, try to make things uncomfortable for the label so that they would have to choose Drake over Kendrick in order to continue to do business with them both. And this song also got caught in the crossfires, right? We're going to go through the entire interview to get into the Clipse as their own standalone artists, coming back after so many years. It's been, what, over a decade at this point? I think the last album came out, what, 2009, 10? So it's been a very long time that we've been waiting on this. To the Casket Drop was the last one. And they're going to be talking about everything. But of course, we know the big headline is UMG slash Def Jam tried to throw salt in the game about this Kendrick feature. So much so that they actually left Def Jam. Pusha T left Def Jam as a solo artist as well. And they went and did a partnership deal with Roc Nation for distribution. So now the Clipse are Roc Nation artists. Pusha T is Roc Nation artist, which I'm not surprised by that move. I actually thought that they would have gone over there. Pusha, even on his own, would have went over there sooner with all of the different Jay-Z features that he's had in the last decade or so as well. Like, it just seemed like one day serendipity would lead to that. But let's get into the context, because this is going to be a bit to get through. The brothers Thornton, better known as Malice, and Pusha T are back together with a new Pharrell Williams produced album that ranks with their most potent product ever. And they're ready to go on record about Kanye, Drake, and the state of the game. They're not pulling no punches. Niggas is back on they shit. And I like it. You know what I'm saying? Now, some people were angry about my assessment of the production on Ace Trumpets. It wasn't my favorite Pharrell beat, but I didn't say the song was whack. I like the record. I like the raps on the record, and I'm excited about the clips. Sometimes my takes get blown out of proportion, but I'm just an objective music listener, man. I don't drink nobody's Kool-Aid. But that doesn't mean I'm any less excited. All right, so here we go. Still, it wouldn't be a Clipse album without some label woes, nearly derailing the fun even after the product was cooked to purity. The duo's lore is, of course, marked by the label politics that delayed a quick follow-up to their debut album, Lord Willing, forcing them to dominate the mixtape circuit with their seminal We Got It For Cheap series, while crafting Hell Hath No Fury with a chip on their shoulder. What happened with Let God Sort 'Em Out is less dramatic, but it's a situation with massive reverberations nonetheless. If you expected the album last summer, the brothers sympathized, so did they. Pusha says they felt confident, proud, and assured of themselves when they presented the music to Def Jam. The label loved what they heard, except for Kendrick Lamar's guest verse on the thunderous Chains and Whips, the final version of the song that Pharrell teased at his first LV Runway show, and the song Pusha says was the first to come out of their session. So this is one of the earliest records that they worked on. Don't be fooled by Pusha's interviews appealing for one last guest verse and the Twitter jokes that he went to a GNX tour date to physically walk Kendrick into the nearest studio. K-Dot's verse homework has been turned in for a while now, so all of the lore, all of the mythology, all of the Pusha T went to the show to, link up with Kendrick, all that, not true. This song been done. Just needed a little, little hype. Need to build anticipation for it. But after a summer of beef between their two biggest artists that resulted in a still ongoing lawsuit from Drake, Def Jam's parent company, UMG, blanched at the antagonistic optics of two of Drake's biggest enemies linking on wax. Pusha calls their apprehensions stupid, primarily because none of the bars in Kendrick's otherwise excellent verse could really be perceived as a shot or even subliminal. That's what they say now. It does, however, contain the stellar line, "Therapy taught me how to open up. It also showed me I don't give a fuck." And of course, we know the Mr. Morale album was the therapy or the product of his therapy that he put on wax. And he says, hey, it showed me how to open up. I gave you that. But it also showed me I don't give a fuck. So it's whatever with me, nigga. I'm fully in tune with myself. Good, bad, beautiful, ugly, and I don't give a fuck which side I let out because I'm in tune with it all. If we loving, it's loving. If we going to war, nigga, I'm fully prepared for that and fully equipped to go the distance. Which is another thing that I wish people would embrace, is that Kendrick is a complete nigga. He's a grown-ass man. He don't need nobody out here fighting his battles. He don't need nobody saying don't trust them new niggas over there or this over that or this or that. If he got a problem with a nigga, he'll Frank Lucas, and I'm talking about from American Gangster, the movie, and shoot a nigga dead in broad daylight and walk the fuck off if that's what he says is his mission for the day. Let that nigga handle his shit. We'll continue though. They say Pusha can barely contain his disgust recounting how the stalemate with Def Jam played out. They wanted me to ask Kendrick to censor his verse. Now remember last year, Drake, he wanted Not Like Us to be censored. He wanted things to be taken out. He wanted things to be changed. Not a successful request. Now we have Pusha T over here saying that UMG is, and Def Jam specifically with UMG, under UMG's direction, is saying, yo, like that verse over there, like the song, everything, but he gonna have to change that. Push looking like, change what? Nigga, what year you think this is? Who you think you talking to? Fuck out my face. I love it. They wanted me to ask Kendrick to censor his verse, which of course I was never doing, he explains. And then they wanted me to take the record off. So at one point they asked him to censor Kendrick's verse. Then they asked to completely remove the record from the album. And so, after a month of not doing it, Steve Garley, the lawyer over there, was like, we'll just drop the clips. But that can't work because I'm still there solo. But if you let us all go. So they literally said, Def Jam said, yo, if y'all are not willing to take that Kendrick song off the project, we will have to let you go. Pusha says, okay, but I'm still here. So what's up with that? Let me out my deal too then. Fuck it. I don't want to be in business with you bitch ass niggas. And so here we have it. Sure enough, Def Jam eventually agreed to release the clips and drop Pusha T as a solo artist, which I'm sure he wanted to get the fuck out of there anyway. What was they doing for him? Freeing the duo up to shop for a new home with a finished Clipse album and plenty more music in their pockets. And that just goes to show that they didn't really value the Clipse anyway. I don't think they really expected the Clipse to come out and have this much excitement, this much energy. I don't think people expected, especially over there at Def Jam. They've been investing in younger artists. They've been snatching up a lot of people off the internet, trying to put them in the Def Jam infrastructure. A lot of those experiments have failed. They don't got a lot of good direction over there at Def Jam. It's been that way for like 15 years. Like the last good run of Def Jam was kind of like good music, Kanye. That was really it. The niggas that was under that circle, because they all did de facto deals with Def Jam, but everything after that has pretty much been, who gives a fuck? Anyway. And he said he got more music in the tuck. So you was willing to sacrifice the Clipse album, Pusha T as an artist, and future Clipse music, which probably could have helped bring y'all back to some level of relevance. Anyway, we'll keep going. Ultimately, Pusha says the endeavor was gratifying. It felt good to even see how other labels were buying for the project. Now, as they teased last week with a picture in front of the label's playing insignia, they've ended up at Jay-Z's Rock Nation, where they feel fully supported and energized. Why wouldn't they feel supported? I mean, Jay-Z over there. Jay-Z fuck with Pusha heavy. I actually wish they would have made this happen years ago, but I'll continue. I think that the synergy, just in a rap sense, is going to speak volumes, Pusha says of the partnership. So if they're now officially doing business with The Rock, and the Kendrick verse was never the feature Pusha kept alluding to holding out for, Does this mean we're due for another Pusha and Jay-Z collaboration? Pusha's already gotten a latter career best from Jay. One can only imagine how hard Jigga would go for his first true blue Clipse collab. We made history a couple of times, Pusha says with a coy smirk, referring to the two elusive Jay features he's nabbed in the past. I feel like being in business is a bigger link up than any verse. So we may not get that Jay-Z verse on here. Maybe so, maybe not. Especially with all the bullshit that Jay-Z dealt with at the end of last year, top of this year. He may not be ready to come out just yet musically because he's still pursuing Tony Busby and all that bullshit. I think he wants to finish his breakfast. But it's like, shit, bring the Clipse over. Let them talk greasy. Let them have their way. Asked if Jay made his patented screw face when he heard the new music, Pusha replies, yeah. But you got that on camera already, referring to crowd shots of Jay reacting to chains and whips during the LV show. That's true. Beyonce was feeling that motherfucker too. Ironically, if anyone deserves a speeding ticket for antagonizing other rappers on chains, it's Pusha, whose verse is a not so thinly veiled response to veteran Dipset rapper Jim Jones going on something of a "What's the big deal about Pusha T" tour during a run of interviews debating the top 50 MCs of all time. I personally never understood what the interviews were about, Pusha says, or why my name kept coming up. It's one thing to keep saying I'm not a top 50 MC, but it's another thing for you not to say that you yourself are one. No one asked me about a top 50 nothing. After about the third interview, I promise you, I said, man, he must really want me to know what he thinks about me. And that's how my verse came. This is what I really think about him. This is what I really think about him. Every line is my true heart. Pulls no punches on Jim. Listen closely elsewhere on the album and you'll find at least one other instance of Pusha letting another rapper know what he really thinks about them. Sounding as menacing yet unbothered as ever. I asked Malice, who doesn't appear to have any personal problems with anyone, what's going through his mind when he sees his younger brother get into demon mode like this. He's being true to himself, Malice says, uncorking the heartiest chuckle he's let out all day. This is who I knew him to be growing up, and it gets worse. Jones wasted no time responding to the song's tease with his own freestyle over the beat. But this was 2 springs ago at this point. Now that the song's releasing officially, if Capo has more to say, Pusha isn't sweating it, nor does he seem particularly impressed by the initial reply. Hey man, listen, he says with an evil smile. He can do whatever he wants. I told y'all. Somebody asked me, like, yo, you don't think he going at Jim? I'm like, I don't think he's really worried about Jim that much. I don't think he sees Jim as either a worthy competitor or somebody that he's going to use a lot of breath about. I feel like he already spanked him on that Chains and Whips record that we heard. If he goes out of his way to mention more of them, I think it would diminish how he feels about his own shit. Cause I kind of get where Pusha's coming from when he's like, you know, he can do whatever he wants. It's like, bro, we ain't never been mentioning the same shit. Like, we've rapped with Cam. We've rapped with niggas around you. We rap with Kiss. We rap with the Locks. We rap with these other niggas. When have we ever looked at you as somebody in our rap circle? So that's why I was like, you know what? I don't think a lot of them bars is aimed at dude, even though they could fit. I don't think so. One foe who definitely isn't getting any more of Pusha's time at press time, though, Drake. The Six God famously bowed out of the 2018 Memorial Day weekend bout just as it was getting good when Pusha forever altered the perception of diss tracks by backing his up with forensic evidence like a legal investigator. Drake infamously let things fizzle out before dropping an album with lines like, never a matter of what I could or should I. As luck would have it, I've settled into my role as the good guy, which, no the fuck he didn't. No the fuck he didn't. But before the events of last spring, Drake had been spending a lot of time on wax practically begging Pusha to get back in the ring, particularly in 2023 when he made a music video wearing all of the classic Pharrell jewelry pieces that P auctioned off in intentionally swagless fashion. Bragged on Travis Scott's meltdown that he would destroy those Grrrls without a care, and claimed that he could post up in Virginia anytime on his own for All the Dogs album, where he also taunted a rapper going broke amidst a refrain of empty clips. In the years since they battled, Drake has done everything to complicate the good guy image he once gamely upheld. Dogs even samples the Scarface bad guy clip. Pusha's heard the taunts, and much like when I asked him a similar question 3 years ago, he could not care less. I think after everything that had been done, I don't think there was ever anything subliminal to be said ever again in life. Not only just musically, like, bro, I actually was in Canada. I actually had a show and made it home. So I can't pay attention to none of that. I did the dance for real, not to come back and tiptoeing around anything. So he says, we're not throwing no more shots. We're not doing no more, back and forth on wax. Is it true? I do, ooh. We're not doing no more of that, nigga. You backed out. Just as the fight was getting good, you decided to stay in your corner. You took a knee. Then when the fight's over, you're like, shit, we can still do a rematch. No, nigga, you forfeited. You didn't even finish. I beat your ass that bad, nigga. Move on. Find another competitor or retire. So you would only ever engage again if he went full tilt. He says, man, I would only engage again if I felt like it. It ain't about what that nigga doing. It's about how I feel. If I wake up and get up out of bed one day and decide to bomb on his ass again, I do it. But right now, I ain't worried about that nigga. So for the record, bait jobs like buying and wearing Neptune's pieces from the same era that Clipse thrived in aren't going to do the trick. He's always said he was a fan, so I feel like that's something a fan would do. It wasn't like P was hurting for money and sold his jewelry. Pusha laughs dismissively, referring to the chains Drake bought at an auction. Right? P was clearing out all of his old possessions, like separating himself from the history. Letting it be known, I'm not caught up in nostalgia. I'm moving forward in life. I'm not trying to rekindle this person that I was 10, 15, 20 years ago. Drake, as the fan he is, who's been going through hip-hop memorabilia like socks anyway, has just been buying it up, collectible, not understanding that the niggas that you're buying a lot of this shit from don't even respect you. Still, however, assured Pusha feels in his own battles with Drake, I've wondered if it feels bittersweet to him in any way that Kendrick got the full back and forth knockout experience, whereas he was in a way cut short by label interference, Jay Prince weighing in, and Drake ultimately backing away. Pusha says, nah, I feel like everything happened the way it was supposed to happen. That was a fucking knockout, by the way. Like, you can't threaten me with a good time. Oh, I could drop the worst diss record of all time on you, but my stepdaddy says no. All right, nigga, fuck you and that nigga. Fuck. What that gonna do to me? Pusha says, I had my own vision and my own intent in everything that I did during that time, and I did everything I wanted to do. There was nothing that I felt slighted about in watching anything last year. It was good to watch. I knew where it was going. I knew how it was going to play out, and it did. Who didn't expect that? Earlier, when discussing Def Jam clutching their pearls over a Clipse Kendrick record, Pusha said it all reminded him too much of 2018. Weighing in on Drake and Kendrick's ongoing feud, namely Drake's decision to sue UMG over releasing Not Like Us, Pusha elaborates on what he meant. He says, I will say this, admitting he's no bar-approved counselor with intimate knowledge of the suit. If Drake's adamant to have a lawsuit, it's only because he knows all the things that they did to suppress everything that was happening around Adidon and the verses and the records and things that were happening back then. Okay, so he says, if you're willing to sue Kendrick for UMG's support of him, then clearly you are coming out and letting it be known that you intimately know what was going on with me, Def Jam, UMG, etc. when I had the gloves on with your ass. And at the time, they bowed down. Now I say this, just imagine if the story of Adidon wasn't on Jay-Z's beat, how that would have went on an original track and say, fuck it, drop me if you got to, I'm putting this out. He might have got sued back then. He alludes to instances in which he says label machinations muddled, if not outright nixed the release of verses in which Pusha talked his shit next to people closely affiliated with Drake. Ooh. Right. Maybach Music 6, that was a thing. I do remember him dissing Drake on that Maybach Music shit. Yep. In which Pusha talked shit next to people closely affiliated with Drake, as he did on Rick Ross and Lil Wayne's Maybach Music 6, right next to Wayne. And he ain't never fucked with Wayne either. That was Rick trying to pull a fast one. And a posthumously released Pop Smoke song with Young Thug. Pusha says, I don't rate him no more. The suing thing is bigger than some rap shit. I just don't rate you. You're completely taken off the table. In a game filled with warriors, swordsmen, craftsmen, penmen, creatives, your name is completely removed from the table. We can't even discuss you no more, nigga. You're unrateable. Damn, it's like it just kind of cheapens the art of it once we got to have real questions about suing and litigation. Like, what? For this? Pusha once rapped that he's often at the mercy of a game where the codes is missing. As our conversation turns toward beefs, disagreements, and conflicts, he seemed to want to go out of his way to reject the idea of him being a bully. The way he sees it, every heat check or headshot he's doled out has been the product of him finishing energy that others started. He says, I've really been in Paris making my joints, doing my shit. When these people mention me, they're really going out of their way, Pusha says. What have I done besides wear clothes these past couple of years? I just been with LV. This shit ain't coming out of nowhere. Bro, I'd be cool with all these guys. Everybody you mentioned today, bro, I promise you, they did the underhanded weird shit. Weird shit that you won't hear him dedicate any energy to in the music anytime soon. His falling out with Kanye. But then he talked about Yeezy in the new song. While they've quite clearly gone their separate ways at this point, Pusha says things were headed there in the last few months or years of his time with Kanye were him playing the industry game more than anything. He says, I realized at certain points that I was really alone in everything that was going on as far as rap, drama, so on and so forth, Pusha recalls. Now remember, Pusha's going back and forth with Drake. He's throwing darts at him on a lot of verses before the actual back and forth became a thing. And in the background, Kanye knows he's dissing him, but he's like, man, y'all, that's y'all thing. I still want to work with this guy. I want him to write my music. We see him today still coming out talking about how eager he is to get back in the studio with Drake. This would help him try to revive his career in his eyes. And to do it, independently without any corporate ties from Def Jam, Universal, etc. So it's like, shit, man, you see me going against this nigga. You see he's got all of the big wigs behind him trying to suppress me, trying to throw me out, you know what I mean? Because I'm the smaller artist in the situation. And here you is kissing his ass. You letting this nigga treat you like Vince McMahon. And we're talking about the ass kissing thing. But then you come over here and you yucking and shucking in my face and acting like we brothers and I'm president of good music and I'm making decisions for the label. I'm finding new talent, bringing them to you. I could be doing my own shit. I could be starting my own shit. I could be bringing the talent to my own shit. I'm bringing them to you. And you repay me with wanting to rock with this nigga every chance you get. Man, fuck both y'all niggas. Right? He points to the 2021 Donda sessions in Atlanta as one of those points. He says, I'm in a collective of a lot of individuals. Everybody's working, but I really got shit to do. And I leave and it's one energy, and then I come back, the energy's off. And then you hear about the sidebar conversations. You got your homeboy who coming up to you like, yo, they was saying this when you left. So basically, Ye talking shit about Push behind his back. It's all love, it's all good, daps and hugs, shoulder shrugs. But then when he leaves, he's saying little side shit. I'm thinking that we all in this collectively getting busy, but in all actuality, everybody had their own agendas. And I feel like I was the only one who didn't. My agenda was for the squad. So from that point on, I just looked at everybody differently, and I looked at it as, we're just going to make music. We're going to get beats, we're going to write some raps, and we're going to keep it moving. So it became strictly business. At press time, Kanye has burned virtually nearly every bridge and collaborative friendship he's ever had, and Pusha is no exception. It's like, bro, you've been mentioning me, screaming about me, you got every soul believing that I've done such a great injustice to you, and that's a lie. He goes on his rants. The one thing that I can say about him is that he knows that every issue he's having and crying about online right now, I've told him distinctly about those things distinctly. So when he gets up there with his KKK mask and he's screaming behind it like a pro wrestler, he gotta scream behind a mask. He don't talk to me like he talks to others. So he said, oh shit, nigga. You out here acting like Randy Savage and Hulk Hogan and shit, nigga, but you don't put that bass in your voice when I'm in the room. It's usually invigorating to hear Pusha talk his shit, but there's something sad about seeing such a prolific partnership end like this. We made some great shit, bro. We did, Pusha acknowledges. But let me tell you something. He's a genius. And his intuition is even more genius level, right? But that's why me and him don't get along, because he sees through my fakeness with him. He knows I don't think he's a man. He knows it. And that's why we can't build with each other no more. That's why me and him don't click, because he knows what I really, really think of him. He showed me the weakest sides of him, and he knows how I think of weak people. Somehow I should have predicted it would end this way from the beginning, because I ain't gonna lie to y'all. When I first seen it in 2009, when they did kind of like a big deal, sonically, it felt like it worked. But at the same time, I'm like, Clipse? Kanye? And then Push went over there. I was like, how that work? And they made it work to the best of their ability, so much so that, you know, Kanye kind of caught a second wave of like street cred being around Push the same way he kind of got from being around Beans and the other niggas at The Rock. So it was like he could go do weird shit, but then he could come back with Push and make, you know, what's the name of that damn shit? New God Flow. You know what I'm saying? And he could get whatever he want. He could get off however he want because he would Push. More important to Pusha than the music he made with Kanye is how Kanye handled the financial fruits of that relationship. 5 years ago, after publicly expressing frustration with the predatory nature of label deals in general and the splits on his Def Jam contract in particular, Ye announced that he planned to give his 50% ownership stake in the masters of his own good music roster back to the artists themselves. Today, Pusha says West kept his word. Okay, so he had put them in some fucked up deals. And remember, the only person that really came out and spoke about it was Big Sean. He spoke about it in his Drink Champs interview. Then after that, Ye came out with his own Drink Champs interview with a tombstone and said Big Sean was the worst mistake he made in his life and all this crazy shit. But he was fucking bro over. And Big Sean went and actually paid Def Jam millions of dollars to audit the paperwork and the paper trail because Def Jam said, hey, we dispersed the payments. If you haven't received them, they went to your boss. So he had to audit his boss, and then he found millions of dollars that went to Ye that he never got his cut of. Now, Big Sean says that he got a little something out of it, but not nearly what he could have gotten out of it if he would have took him to court legally, but he didn't want to go the legal route. So now we have Pusha T here saying that he was in a fucked up deal with Ye and Def Jam and Good Music, because Good Music honestly wasn't even a label. It was just a name. It was just an imprint. Just really more like a collective than an actual label. But there was paperwork on the label, right? But they weren't actually doing anything for the artists because Def Jam was putting up all the money. Def Jam was doing all the promotion. Def Jam was doing the distribution. Def Jam was doing everything. The only thing Good Music really had going for them was studio sessions. And so then Ye says, all right, well, I'm going to take the 50% that I'm supposed to have in y'all music and I'm going to just let y'all have it, right? Because he wasn't dispersing the money properly anyway. The greatest thing he did, and why I'm okay with where me and him are right now, and I'm cool with staying that way, is because at the end of the day, my truth is my truth, but I still respect what he did in the business. And he speaks ill about the music we've made and giving me certain records. But the one thing he did give me was all the profits back from the Def Jam deal. Now, what they did get in benefit from Kanye, I'll never take that away, is the star power that he lended to these artists. Because had he not put his arm around them, did the music videos with them, made Good Music a collective that was worth seeing, the Rosewood movement, that was when they were doing the suits. You know what I'm saying? He did have ideas that propelled the artists, but he wasn't doing right by them. And as a label, Good Music really wasn't doing nothing. That's why 2 Chainz got the hell on early. When it comes to Kanye, there's always the question of how much of his erratic behavior can be attributed to the mental health issues he's openly discussed. To what degree can you truly hold his rants and screeds against him? He's sick. I do believe that much, okay? That's what Pusha says. You're sick, but you're also very calculated. And if I take your sickness and take how calculated you've been and disruptive you've been and tried to be to me, then it cancels itself out. I can't look at it as sick because you're detrimental. You're detrimental to everything. So he's saying, yeah, a lot of people cut him slack because of his mental health situation. But he says, but you're also calculated. So I don't know which person I'm getting. And either way you cut it, you're detrimental. Me being associated with you fucks up shit for me and everybody else around. Some people are willing to go the distance with you because they feel like long as Jay is here, he's going to take care of this. I'm going to still get my money here. I'm still going to get paid. It's still going to be. But then you isolate yourself from the entire rest of the industry, and your entire life basically circles around what he's got going on and how you can be a part of it. And if he ain't got nothing going on, then what the fuck else are you going to do? Industry games, politics, fake allegiances, they all underscore how important it is to Pusha to have his brother back with him navigating shark-infested waters. Bro, listen, that's been the biggest comfort and the biggest asset to me, Pusha says, in passion. You got to understand where I come from. We build that loyalty amongst friends. Once we lock in as a crew, this is how it goes. We together and we win together, we lose together. This is how we go. All this other stuff was new to me, but it got to a point where it got dangerous. And that's where I felt like I had to remove myself. You got all these different snaky people and all these agenda-having people around. People backbiting you. Come on, man. It's been really crazy. But ultimately, the Clipse album for me was a departure and just something that I missed in just brotherhood. You know what I'm saying? It's like, damn, bro. Shit was therapy for so many reasons, but most importantly, like, damn, just natural, genuine brotherhood. Can't replace that. The plates have been cleared. My taste reputation with the brothers remains intact. And if Emilio hadn't been handling a disturbance in the kitchen, there might have been a new photo to put on the Bellotto wall. Pusha and Malice are content in the moment, but in conversation sounding renewed overall. Is it right to say this reunion feels less like a one-off and more like the start of a new run? I believe that. I think the energy is going to speak for itself, and I think that the people are going to keep calling for it, Pusha says. For once today, Malice is the Thornton brother to flash a devilish grin, looking to the ceiling to avoid making any eye contact. He says, I believe what he believes, Malice says with a smile. So this Clipse is here. Always one of my favorite groups. Duos. However you want to slice it. But even if Malice is hesitant to commit formally, I thought back to something the brother said earlier about competing in the game even as Pusha nears 50 and his older brother stares down 53. Rap don't age out, Pusha said. As long as you're of the culture and you're in it and you're competing, you don't ever have to age out. What you mean? Malice agrees. You either have something to offer or you don't. I don't think it's an age limit on this at all. Either you got it or you don't. That's what I be talking about, man. Everybody want to keep talking to me about certain people that I critique, and they be like, man, he's getting older. They're getting older, man. Older. I ain't 50. But if you sharp, you sharp. And if you come out not looking sharp, what you want me to say? Anyway, and if the mantra and the results behind Let God Sort 'Em Out are any indication, the Thorntons aren't looking for competitive spirit. They're here to kill them all, pushing nods and affirmation every time. I like the energy of this interview. Not dodging no questions. You know what I'm saying? Speaking straightforward. They speaking with the music. It's about the music is coming next month. I damn sure wish it was this month that they were dropping, but it's just a month away. I'm ready for that. And if I don't drop nothing else on Patreon, we listening to that album over there together. So that will be a Patreon. Will I do the same with Wayne this week? I don't know. We're going to have to see. We'll have to see how I'm feeling. It is Wayne, but on the other hand, it is Wayne, right? So we'll see. But yeah, man, there's some crazy shit with this whole trying to suppress the Kendrick verse on the album. Def Jam literally let them niggas walk, both as duo and solo, off of one verse when they were content with the rest of the album. That just makes me and probably everybody anticipate that verse even more, because what could he have possibly said on that verse that could have been that important? And Push says, hey, he ain't dissing him, he ain't doing nothing. You know what I mean? Like, I seen Rob Markman talking earlier. He says that it's more of a state of the union, a state of where I'm at, and a state of where we're at collectively. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be one of them verses that everybody stops and tunes into and sees, like, okay, what is on his mind? But it's really not a diss. But they say that Def Jam and Universal were that worried about the optics of Push and Kendrick linking up that they were willing to hinge the entire relationship on that one verse. It's got to be an important fucking verse. It's got to be more than 16 bars. Goddamn, if it's that important. But I tell you what, I'm ready for it. That joint that I played the other day, the Mike Tyson blow to the face joint, that's the one they claim has Stove God Cooks on it. That's another one that they talked about or alluded to in the article. I'm looking forward to that. That's definitely my speed. So yeah, man, new Clipse. It's good to have this energy. It's good to have this excitement. It's good to have, something to look forward to in hip hop that we know is gonna, like, most likely stick to the ribs. There's a lot of the projects that come out is like here today, gone tomorrow. Nobody cares. I've always lived with Clipse music, so I'm excited for it. Let me know what y'all think of all this down below in the comments. Be sure to like and share this video. If this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, become an insider, and I will catch y'all on the next one. All right? Much love and respect, y'all. Peace.
King of my city and cul-de-sac. Coming out swinging like soldier rag. Leading my people like quarterback. Boy, I study this shit, I'm an almanac. Had to get up and grind. Knowledge is booming, I'm here to apply. Came with the chip and the dip, it just single the mind. We finna do more than survive. I need my check. Spinning the block for the Gouda. We hitting the jeweler to flood out the net. We don't do beef on computers, I'm straight out the sewer. We come when you rest. Niggas be looking perplexed, so keeping my foot on their neck. No map, I trust my gut for the quest. With drama, I'm fully abreast. I was ready for years and they doubted me. All of a sudden they tell me they proud of me. I been dropping these haters like calories. Cross them out, I came back with some batteries. Stand for my honor, but too raw, no corner. Packing the stick with a drummer. Wanna catch my bad, won't fumble. I done came too far to be humble.